judges and referees here on Thai Fight is Dr. Sawang with the Pitang. Here we go, main event underway and already an aggressive start from Wu.
Low southpaw here, Wu trying to rough up Saenchai.
Oh! That's it! That's it! The head kick from Saenchai closes the show here tonight in Mahasalakam province. Welcome back to Mahasalakam, Saenchai PK, Saenchai Muay Thai Gym.
Wow, he was not going to get let up in his home province.
Absolute legend. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fully Hydrated. It's myself, Rob Nakamura, the High Chief, Zac Pauga. And if you guys don't know what we do here, we run through everything we possibly can in combat sports, from the fighting to the behind the stage stuff and everything in between. This is a conversation me and Zac are having, but that doesn't mean we don't want your comments as well. So throughout this program, you're going to hear me say it a bunch of times. Drop your comments, whether you're on X or on YouTube. We can get them, and we'll share them, and we'll go wherever the conversation and the flow of that goes. But my brother Zac, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. And that clip I love. We don't talk before the show. It's not that professional of a show, but I love that you picked that clip, dude. I love that clip, and I'm a hardcore Muay Thai fan. I'm a hardcore fan, and we could talk about all the old stadium champs if you want to, but I love Saenchai, and I know that's like the casual answer. I know that's the casual answer, but I love Saenchai so much, and he brings so many eyes to Muay Thai, and he brings so many people in. And the fact that he's 45 years old, still swish kicking dudes in the head, knocking them out. I don't care if they're whatever. He's 45 years old. Who do you want him to fight? Who do you want him to fight?
Yeah, and he did actually just have a hard-ass fight not that long ago against Bulkau, who, you know what I mean? Like, so what's up, guys? What are you going to – 99% of the planet still gets knocked out by Bulkau. So, I'm with you. Right. Here's the other thing. So what if Saenchai is the casual response to that? So is loving Muhammad Ali, right? That's an easy – and is it wrong? No, it's great. Yeah. I'm with you on that. I want to point to not just his age, because I'm gonna be turning a certain number in a couple days, but the point is 328 wins. 328 wins, dude. That's not total contest. 328 wins is an insane number. I know Muay Thai guys run it up in the couple hundreds on the regular, but I don't even think I have 328 air hockey wins, dude. Like, it's
right. And like, you're right. Different sports, all that stuff. But I don't even know how many losses. We'll just say 328 professional fights, right?
Yes.
I'm on 20 right now, and I'm hoping I can get to 40 of it some eventually. 328 professional fights, let alone wins, let alone highlight after highlight after highlight.
And you know what? Just because it was so damn cool, I'm gonna do it one more time. You know what? He deserves it. He deserves it one more time.
Of the judges and referees here on Thai Fight is Dr. Sawang with the Pitang. Here we go, main event underway and already an aggressive start from Wu.
Low southpaw here, Wu trying to rough up Saenchai.
Oh! That's it! That's it! The head kick from Saenchai closes the show here tonight in Mahasalakam province. Welcome back to Mahasalakam, Saenchai PK, Saenchai Muay Thai Gym.
Wow, he was not going to get let up in his home province.
And that was the last thing I wanted to add on that. Being able to fight back at home, literally in his home province, in his hometown, cut the cheese however you want. That's awesome. That's good for him. Glad to see it. But enough of us being fanboys over Saenchai, which we will never stop doing. But we have a little bit of a structure here. We go off the rails all the time. But the first things first, the pump and dump, where we go back in time. We look at the most recent UFC event, UFC Winnipeg in this case, and somebody on this list is going to get some love. Somebody on this list is going to get some admonishment. We don't tell each other because we want to find out our authentic points of views on this. And this is where, folks, once again, I invite you to drop your pump and dump with us. I'll check the comments in a bit, but Mr. Pauga, you get to decide what we're doing first, pumping or dumping.
So I'm dumping first. And
All right.
This is like a personal, petty, salty dump. But it's my show. It's our show. So that's how it is, right? My dump is Tanner Bose. Okay, like,
Ooh.
bro, they brought you back because they needed a Canadian to come fight. Like you got a chance that you probably didn't deserve, right? To get back in, to get in, and I like. Yes, they brought you in to lose. Like they brought you in against the hot young prospect, against a hot stud, but like you gave them exactly what they wanted. Like don't go in there and give the upset. Go in there and do something. Go in there and get a war. But to just get starched, like to get put out of there with minimal resistance and like you can show all my losses. You could clip all my losses right after. I've got knocked out a few times, but none of them were like, okay, Gifts, come on, Zach. We're having a fight in Samoa. Come on, we'll let you on it. You were cut from the UFC. Come fight in Perth, Australia, right? I never got any of those.
Yeah, I'm with you. And to back up your point, the commentary right there, Bozer's on his back. Brutal. But I'm with you. And all I can say is the UFC, and this is going to lead to my dump, but I'm not fully on board. I'm not disrespecting your pick on a dump because I think Tanner should have showed up, but at least it wasn't boring heavyweights. Like there's how many times we come through here and I'm like, oh, that fight was boring. Like if you're gonna be the B-side, if you're gonna be a B-side and you're gonna be the nail, get driven,
get hammered.
Get hammered. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. For my entertainment, because I'm that guy. But on the other side, you know, the matchmaking is something I'm gonna be talking about in just a second. But there was a lot of that. It was more obvious to me this week than in other weeks, which is pretty obvious then too. I don't so contradict myself right on the spot. But the point is, it was very like old school WWF, WWE, like here's the jobber versus name guy.
So they do this they do it in every international show, right? They want the local person to win, but it's never been this bad before. It's never been this like lopsided for Canada before.
Yeah, and
for the other country, maybe for Canada it always is, but it's never been this lopsided for London or China.
I'm gonna jump in and just say multiple times in the program, because of course they have everything scripted out and they know when they're gonna hit their promos, whatever. But they're pushing these hard promos, and Canada, I love you. First off, just let that be known. But them hitting these promos on like the history of MMA there and like their contribution to the sport, and they're just dropping left and right, like not performing very good. And we can get into some other stuff, but yeah, good dump, fair dump. And you know what? I had that heavyweight clip and I guessed right. Yeah, for me, my dump was, like I said, it's gonna be this, but I'll explain why. I spilled the beans just 2 seconds ago. The reason is that knockout happened off of leveraged matchmaking. And folks, leveraged matchmaking happens all the time. That's how you create stars. But the UFC must have been hearing and reading everybody's messages on Twitter for X, whatever, for the past couple years of saying, the UFC has no stars. The UFC has no stars, watching their pay-per-view numbers dwindle. We got no stars. Well, now they're trying to manufacture those stars.
Yeah.
They're literally throwing gasoline on the fire, creating these scenarios. Bazookia has been out 2+ years, and you put him against a guy who throws hammers. That was the most likely outcome. A guy who's not proficient in striking and out for a long time against a hammer, and a new thing that you guys want everybody to know. And it's not against the athlete. Like, they did what they're supposed to do. God bless them. Hell yeah. You gave me something to be happy about. But my dump is at the structure of the UFC matchmaking at this point, because I miss, and I'm old and I don't care, I'm going to say it, I miss when it was genuinely about the best of the best meeting each other. And I'm not saying that the best athletes don't exist in the UFC anymore. That's obviously there are plenty, but there's also plenty of people who are just not. They're just not. They're regional level guys, and that's all I gotta say. It's.
Well, I feel like that's what made MMA, but specifically the UFC, great. Was that the best were fighting each other, and not we weren't saving them and holding them for title shots or number one contender shots. The best fought the best every pay-per-view, and you're 100% right that that's not the case anymore. And even on the fighter side, the best don't want to fight the best anymore because we're getting to that boxing area where one loss and puts you way down the matchmakings, that people just want highlights and undefeated fighters.
Yeah, it's a contrast of two things kind of going on. It's probably more, but I'm going to highlight two things. One, that Sean O'Malley quote lives in the back of my head. Like, I don't fight up the rankings. I fight to the level of my contract, right? Yeah. And that's what a lot of guys with names and stuff are doing. They're like, well, no, hey, I got this ranking. I got this money. I'm only going to fight at this particular caliber of pay and level. I don't want to do anything else. And to the other side, like, I get it. The UFC has grown. It's way bigger than it was in the eras that I was just referencing. But okay, so back then you had like the top 25 bros of every weight class. Now we got like the top 50 or so. We'll still match them accordingly. The gap that is being played right now to generate stars and to manufacture highlight reels, to manufacture some recognizable names, I don't think that's necessarily going to work long term, because the problem, and call me wrong if you want, but it's the frequency of events. Like, we don't get to talk. We get to, because we have this awesome show together, we get to talk about what just happened last week. We get to share with other people, but the community as a whole, back then, bro, we'd have one fight a month, maybe two, and we would talk about what just happened. Now it's like, fight's over. Next week, what are we talking about? We're talking about next week already. We're not even talking about the fight that just happened. And without talking about the fight just happened in a reminiscent, oh shit, did you see this kind of way? I don't really know how much star power you can even build. And that's just me going on this crazy ass journey.
Well, yeah, and to really spin things off the trail here, like, now not being on ESPN, there's no one is like, Paramount doesn't have any shows. Like, no one, there's lots of fights. There's fights every weekend. But like you said, unless you're tuning in unless you're choosing to watch Ariel Helwani or Luke Thomas, you're not seeing anything but the fights, right? There's no first take MMA or anything like that. Like, it's just not happening. And so the only thing we have are the fights and clips and viral reels. And that's all the UFC is really interested in, is trying to get viral reels so that they can share them.
That's it. That's it right there. All right, folks, thank you for joining and hanging out with us as we get through this beginning segment. Your thoughts, your opinions on whatever we're talking about is welcome. Drop your comments on X or YouTube. We can catch them all. We go to the second half of this. First we dump. Now we're going to pump. My man, what you got?
So my pump, I promise you don't have a clip for this. If you do, we'll give you $10. Promise you don't have a clip for this. And I promise everyone watching right now, we are usually a very professional show, and I have integrity with my pumps and dumps here. But my pump is JJ Aldrich. She's my teammate, and I've been a part of so many like robberies and so many losses that we should have won. And this is the first time in my entire career, me or a teammate of mine has like done the robbing, like won a fight that they did not win. And I'm like, you know what? It feels kind of good. It feels kind of nice to get when the judges mess up in your favor. I've never experienced this before, and I like it. I'm down with it.
Well, I lose the free $10 that was on the table, so you get to keep yours. Good job. I did not see that one coming. Also, I wish I could insert gifts on this because I want to put in the old Toretto. You know, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, winning is winning. And the fight gods, you know, they bless and they curse, and sometimes they bless when everybody wants to bitch about it. Everybody's up in arms about this horse thing. I've seen good friends of mine argue about it. Complete random strangers argue about it. And this is the first time in 2 days that I got to hear someone be happy about it. So that makes me happy. I'm honest. So shout out JJ. Good for you. God bless. Hell yeah. And you know, don't let the people fucking take away your happiness. Like you want. So
win's a win.
Yeah, win's a win, dude. Congratulations. Now it's my birthday week, so my pump is gonna be all over the place. I'm just making up shit. I'm not sticking to the criteria because I just want to. I just feel like it. And I'm gonna start with a funny one. You know, because I talked about this a couple weeks ago, and I see it kind of trending. And I also want to give credit because, you know, UFC is entertainment. A lot of people try to do too much pre-show. Some people focus on the post-show, the microphone. I like this trend that's happening. This.
Continue here. Big straight shots right through the guard. Stop doing that. Come on, get in there and fight him.
I know Paul Felder was not feeling it, but I do. Mid-match taunting is probably the new cool thing in the UFC. I want more of it. I highly encourage people to do it. Don't get knocked out after you do it, because that's not going to be good for you. But bringing just random entertainment and letting your personality show in the battle is pretty badass, in my opinion. A lot of people I know, Zach's talked about it, and you're locked in. Like, you're in war. You like the cool part of you, your personality. A lot of that fades away because you're doing some important ass shit. So, just I don't know. I found that wonderful. You know, that's it.
The big thing from that clip that I want to highlight, and I think it was just like a one-off, but I hope the UFC really starts pushing this. That ref, kudos to that ref. You think you have time to dance? All right, stand up and let's fight. Like I want that in everything. If we're holding guard and people are putting their hands, whatever, okay, separate, let's fight. Like I think all the UFC's issues will be solved if we just eliminate all forms of stalling. Like if you're gonna, like the classic one is that position, the open guard, and the guy kicks him 6 times in the leg and they let 45 seconds go by, just stand him up and let's fight. Like none of this nonsense.
I'm for that. I can see that. I've always been the other side of it though. Like, just kick him for an hour. I don't care. Like, get the free damage, you know. But yeah, I see your point. And I just want to throw this to another sport. Once upon a time, you know, they didn't have the rules of taunting in college. They didn't have it in the NFL, and the NFL, you know, always gets ragged as the no fun league. But there was a time where all of these things just made the sport better. There's a balance to everything. You can't be a clown show. I get it. But if that was maybe too far the other way, this, my friend, is how you taunt right here. This is how you do it. And no point. He did his own thing. He did like a welcome to the center of the mat kind of movement. They got off the Max Holloway point, which I'm crying about all the time. And then they threw down. Then they went crazy, both of them. So that, to me, like, this is what I'm talking about. That sweet spot of taunting and fighting. This could be
that was great. I would call that showmanship. Like, that was showmanship, and that's what if you want your career as a fighter, and speaking to like myself, if you want to accelerate your career as a fighter, you got to sprinkle in a little bit of that showmanship. You got to add a little bit. My big thing is, like, Paul Felder. Shut up, dude. Like, just let these guys have fun. Let these guys have fun. Let them fight. Don't critique them on his showmanship, on his whatever in the middle of the fight. Just let him fight. Do your job and talk about if he's throwing a cross or whatever. Don't talk trash about him. Oh, stop pointing, just fight. You know, shut up, Felder.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you for saying it. I was going to mention that too. Yeah, come on, Felder, loosen up. All right. Well, from the good stuff to something that I think deserves a moment of time because in an era of the UFC where a lot of people are playing characters, they're doing gimmicks. I hear that word like 100 times a week. And other kind of shenanigans to play a role. I thought it was very genuine and made my heart like go out to the guy. From one Rob to another, shout out Robzilla. I'm playing that, to the amount of work that the fighters go through to win a fight, to not have it come a few other times, especially after going through it with losing his mom, and then to get it. And then the guy is like trying to publicly apologize. Brother, you don't owe none of us an apology. God bless you. Love to you. Sorry for your loss. And I just want to say it takes a whole giant set of strength and balls to just be that real and all that. So, you know, shout out to Robert. Much love, my man. Sorry to you and your family. And I just love the authenticity. And I think more fighters could decide to go the opposite way of gimmicks and just be real, because I think it resonates with all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think being real is the key, but turning it up and like perfect example. And same thing, condolences to Rob, and an amazing performance as well. But he made the choice. He made that choice to share that intimate moment with us and let us into his life. It could have been really easy, and to cry on national TV in front of 1,000 people, more than 1,000, obviously. But he could have just gone, thanks, worked hard, and not said anything. He chose to let us in, and you're right, dude. I respect that. He earned a fan, and so I'm hoping, you know, more fighters see that. Just be real. Whatever it is, be real, but let us see it. Let us see the realness.
That's it right there. I couldn't agree further on that stuff. All right. Well, there's another portion of this where, you know, we want to thank all the supporters and people who comment and go along with, I dropped polls right after the event to try to see, you know, what's the temperature? What's people feeling right in the moment, right after the fights? And let's get to it. We got kind of a split one here on UFC Winnipeg. 55.6% of people loved it. 44.4% of people thought it was mid. Looks very political when you do polls. It's about that ratio and stuff. But that's kind of so. A friend of mine, shout out Bobby Blunt. Bobby said something funny to me. He goes, "If you had another option that was high tier mid, I would have picked it." And I thought that was really funny to me. But yeah, that's kind of where the card was for me, man. What about you?
So I will agree mid, but however, the important part is that there was zero sucked, right? It wasn't a bad card. Like when we're doing cards every single week, this is a fight night in Winnipeg, Canada. I couldn't even tell you where Winnipeg, Canada, where Winnipeg is on the map. All right, I went to public school, guys. I'm so sorry.
It's in the middle. It's in the
couldn't
middle
even tell you where it is. That's good. That's okay. It's okay. 48 shows a year, right? They're not all going to be bangers. We just don't want any that suck. And we're doing okay right now.
We're doing okay. That is right. That's the UFC. The UFC used to be as real as it gets. The new model is we're doing okay.
We're doing okay. It's not going to suck. It won't suck.
It won't suck. That should be the international slogan for them. All right. And just shouting out to Nick here, Nicholas, sharing his thoughts. And this is a two-parter, so roll with me on this. The second part is the punchline. So he goes, I'm curious if Malott will ever fight outside of Canada. I had to look this up. Brada has not fought outside of Canada for the UFC since 2023. He has an insane streak of fighting in Canada.
It's weird. I didn't even see this comment, but it's weird, and it makes me wonder if there's like visa stuff going on with him. But it is weird that it's been all Canada shows for him.
Yeah, since he had 1 in 22, 1 in 23, both of them in Vegas, I think. I could be wrong. I think at least one of them was in Vegas. Neither here nor there. But to have 5 more years of fights only in Canada, here's the funny part. Nick jumps in and says, I kind of just want to see how he does in enemy territory. He's like Canada's MMA mascot. but he'll eventually need to fight somewhere else, right? Canada's MMA mascot needs a shirt. Somebody make a shirt. That's it right there. Yeah, and this kind of it goes back to what we just said. Could it be visa? Could it be like sometimes what we heard from other fighters? Like, I don't know the taxes. What's the taxes rules for a Canadian? Like, does it make less money? You know, like
I don't think the US, and this is just me speculating, I don't think the US taxes foreigners. I don't think we charge a tax on foreigners. You have to pay your U.S. tax when you go to places, and then they tax you. But I don't think the U.S. taxes foreigners because we don't have the social systems that Canada and the UK have, right? That they take it off the top.
Yeah, I don't know how any of that works. So hey, folks, if you guys know anything about international tax policy and tax liability, drop a comment. I would love to learn a little bit more about that. All right, cool. We're gonna go to very quickly because this is not what we're about. We are not a prediction show, but except one time for one fight per event. And here we go. The next one, I have a graphic for it. Come on, Rob, let's get there. UFC Vegas number 110,057. Who knows? I lost track. It's in my city. I don't care what number Vegas it is. It's just UFC Vegas.
I try and look it up every week so I can hashtag it with my tweet, and it's impossible to figure out what UFC Vegas number it is.
And it's also inaccurate because it's UFC Vegas this and that, but there was a UFC Las Vegas event which took away one number from the total. Kind of like UFC total number is wrong because the ultimate events back in the day, if you know, you're a real one. Anyways, we're main event picking for these two brothers right here. So, Mr. Pauga, what do we got?
So, dude, Yusuf is like, he's a Colorado guy, or like a transplant, but trains out of Colorado. He's not on my team, but there's a lot of like crossover. I know a lot of people that trains with. I know him well, and he's on a streak right now. He's a dude that fought his way back into the UFC, and he's on a streak. But I rate Aljamain so highly. I think he's so damn good, and it's just weird to me that like people hate him so much, and he gets so much weird disrespect. I don't see how Yusuf wins this fight. Truly, they're both grapplers. Aljamain is an insane, amazing grappler. It's not like Yusuf's a KO guy. I'm going with Aljamain, and you know, a lot of my Colorado boys are going to be mad at me, but I think Aljamain is so good. I rate him so highly, and it's weird to me all the disrespect he gets online.
People be holding that him versus Piotr Jan incident. They've been holding on to that shit like it's child support payments, bro. Like they're grudging on that, and I don't understand. Never understood it. But I will say this, folks, when it comes to real combat, when a man can almost at will do it to anybody, and what I'm talking about doing, take your back, when they can just find your back. Look at your anatomy. What are you meant to do? Fight this way. You have zero skills fighting this way behind you. That's what I'm doing. Like, he can get there all the time and be there 90% of the whole match. That is a winning way of fighting. Is it the most entertaining way of fighting? Is it the best thing that we want to watch? Not necessarily. And for all those reasons, I'm going to back up Zach's pick. I like Zalal, by the way. I think he's really entertaining. I think this is a terrible matchup for his style.
Yeah,
he
wants to grapple.
Aljo's not going to play anything that makes Zalal look good. I don't see it. Unless the caveat, I think Zalal is very fast on the feet, like insanely fast. And if he can magically stay long the entire is it gonna be a 25-minute fight?
Yeah,
that's a long
five rounds.
Holy shit, that's asking for
first main event for Yusuf, right? Aljamain's fought a lot of them.
Yeah, that's an insane task, dude. Like, folks, try to stay out in front of somebody for 5 minutes, let alone 25, and then someone like Aljo. I'm going with the guy who can take your back and just camp there the whole rest of the night. Comment from Azur. Thank you for sharing. I don't hate Sterling. I like it. Don't hate Sterling. I'm with that. What's the hate for? He's that time
really
has come and gone.
He's really
He's
good.
really
I don't
good.
even know him. I don't know him at all. He's a really good fighter, though. He's a really good fighter.
It. That's just that simple. All right. We're gonna take some questions that we've gotten over the past week or so, and we're gonna talk about them because that's what we do. Folks, drop your comments here on YouTube or on X, wherever you're watching. We can get your comments and drop your questions now. Like, it's not too late. It's not too late. It's never too late. All right, here we go. Got question 1 is from Nick, but we got other ones, but Nick is just an all-star in this episode. Nicholas, another draw occurred over the weekend. This will likely be more commonplace with increased point deductions. Is this a problem or just a necessary evil as a byproduct of enforcing illegal tactics in MMA? And I'm going to highlight in the UFC because that's where they're really cracking down. And I just asked the question, so I don't have to answer it right away. Zach, what do you think?
Well, we've been on. I don't think this is a problem, and Rob and I have been on record saying this before. I want more draws. Like I like draws. There should be more draws and less robberies, right? Everyone says when their favorite fighter loses, it's a robbery. There should be more draws. There's more fights that end that I go, I don't know who won that. Like I don't know who won, and they need to stick to their guns on taking these points. You grab the cage, you poke the eye, we're taking a point. That just needs I want them to take discretion out of it. Take the referee discretion out of it. You grab the cage, that's a point. You poke them in the eye, that's a point.
Yep.
Period.
Yep. The only one that I'm kind of maybe okay with the discretion with, which now is just a stupid point for me to argue, but I'm going to do it anyway, is like dick kicks. Because you can kind of move into it or 100%. Jump into it or whatever.
Yeah, the low blows, that would be hard. And then the thing that also sucks, the promotions love the draw because then they don't have to pay anyone their win money. They like if I say we got to change all the contracts, we got to change every contract it's a lose check. You get your money, your show, and you get a lump sum, and then if you lose half of it, right? Or just UFC, we got a guy who wants to take money away. Hire this guy, but he's still fighting. So maybe in a little bit. All right, we're going to the next question. Let me throw in my 2 cents on that. I think we will see more draws, not just for point deductions, but as we've seen kind of recently, more judges are also 10-8ing rounds based on performance. The commission, the Vegas commission wants more 10-8s. Yep. They are telling their judges for more 10-8 rounds in MMA because in boxing, a drop is an automatic 10-8 round, and it like sets things up the way that you box and the way that you fight, and they kind of want to see that in MMA more. That if you just absolutely style on someone for one round, that you probably should at least draw that fight. Yes, I highlighted the actual wording from the commission a couple episodes ago. I don't have it saved right now, so moving on. But yes, so with all that being said, the draw has incredible odds when you bet on it, folks. Bet the fucking draw. That's a good thing. There you go. All right, next question comes from Mark at DIYM. When will judging get it right? Can't imagine how many parlays were busted by the Horth fight. Go JJ. When does it end and how do we fix it? So I read the question. You got to answer them first. That's how this is going. This is a made up segment. We're just making this up. I'll be honest. I'm going to be honest with you guys. When is it going to end? Never. It's never going to end. They're never going to change it. They're never ever going to change it. And there's the reason is there's infinite ways that they could change it. We could go to 5 judges. We could go to open scoring. We could go to an AI judge. There's so many different ways without even changing the scoring system, right? There's so many things that we could do, and they haven't done a single one since I started fighting 6 years ago, right? Like there's been not a single change since 2020. I don't think that by 2032, they're randomly just going to go, oh, we really got to get this figured out. It's never going to change.
Folks, look how long it took to get rid of the clavicle grab and the 12-6 elbow and the patty cake defense, downed opponent regulation. That took 17, 18 years, something like that. That's a long time. And that's not even
those are the first changes to the rule since the unified rules existed. That was the first changes to the rule.
Yeah. So if we go based on that, I would say it'll take another 3 life cycles, and we're at 33 years of UFC. So we'll count that as a life cycle since we're starting right. So 99 years. In 99 total combative years, we might see a change. And to your point, Ryzen just changed their judging criteria. They use a little bit of the vintage pride, just say whoever won the fight, but they also started scoring rounds, and they're hybriding them to get together in a very genius way. There's a 30-minute press conference with their best referees explaining in great detail how the system works. Go find it on YouTube. Go enjoy it. It's probably on Ryzen TV.
And so that's like for the rules specifically, like one, and who knows how long there's going to be MMA fights going on at one, but one has different MMA rules. They score the whole fight. They don't go round by round in one. There's probably more room for judge error in that. But like, I think that as we get more and more new sports, like this dirty boxing, like Karate Combat, all that stuff, like Karate Combat doesn't do split decisions. Like I don't know if you know
sudden
that.
death.
Split decision, there's a sudden death round.
Sudden death.
I think that's awesome. I think that's sweet. And as these newer sports start to come out, that's when they'll make the changes. That's when they'll do things like open scoring or no split decisions, stuff like that. But as far as the UFC goes, UFC is not changing anything.
Remember, folks, cash rules everything around me. So when you support the other sports and their success rises, then you have a greater sense of possibility of change to things, because just complaining about it ain't going to do it. The last thing I want to leverage on this rule thing, the biggest hurdle that's going to keep anything from changing is the fact that we're still divided as in the system of the states. The states is each commissioned by its own. So you're talking about 50 beautiful individual states running their own commissions that have not diddly shit to do with one another. And that is why
where does Invicta usually fight out of? Is it Kansas or Oklahoma? One of those Midwest states went to open scoring like 4 or 5 years ago. Kansas. They're like, we're doing open scoring now. And I thought, I was like, oh, cool. Everyone's gonna start doing it. No, nobody does it.
Well, shout out to Invicta, because the CEO or whatever, she mentioned that they're coming back soon. So God bless them. All right, on to the next question, which is from Dude Push Start. Shout out to our buddy. Good stuff, guys. Was thinking during the pump. We'll skip that part. Do you guys think the current fights will carry the weights of legendary fights that we still talk about today, or does the pace and frequency take away from the moment? Does social media and access take away from the big time moments? Guess I just miss sitting around with the buddies for the big shows that we're super hyped up for. And I added the 4 at the end there. The point is, I was talking about this just a little bit ago. If you guys just joined us, we were talking about this. I honestly didn't think about the structure of this question, but the frequency of the fights is the biggest detractor from the big moments. Folks, there's many universal clauses, and one of the most universal things on earth is quantity and quality. And there's a ratio between the two, and when quantity goes up, quality will go down. This is an absolute fucking certainty of life in anything you do or has been done ever. And that's unfortunately just the mix of what it is. Now, that was multiple questions in there, my man. Pick whatever part you want to run.
So yeah, and dude, I agree. And like we're always all this show is just consistent streams of us showing how old we are. But like I remember when there was 3 pay-per-views a year. When there was 3, and like you were so hyped and so excited for it, and you'd watch it, and there would be maybe there's some bad fights, but there was some great fights too. And all you did was talk about those fights for the next 3 months until the next pay-per-view came on, and oh, I want to see this guy, I want to see that guy. Like we just had what people called at the time the greatest heavyweight fight of all time, Hokick and Blades, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone? I see it every day because Curtis is a good friend of mine, but are people talking about it anymore? Right, a week later,
It's gone way down. Yeah, if you had a algorithm data of the times it was mentioned, yeah, it's probably nosedive. And I'll go back to even not so far back, like Spider Silva's era. You had one event a month, so it gave you a whole month to get hyped and to reminisce. That's enough time for it to stick in your head. But now we're doing 4 shows a month. I don't know. Here we are,
dude. And we have a show. We have a show. We talk about this. And I was in the UFC. I have to like look up some of these dudes, and I'll take that. Maybe I'm a casual now. I have to like look up these guys and be like, who the hell is this guy? How are like? Or I'm like, oh, is this his first UFC fight? I look up. He has 6 UFC fights, and I'm like, oh, like there's so many guys on the roster. There's so many fights. We're not even. If you think about. If you're a Bronco fan, right? I'm a Bronco fan during the NFL season. You get to see the Broncos play 16 times a year, 20 times if they win the Super Bowl, right? That's like 3 months of the UFC, 4 months. A third of the year, you've already watched 4 fights. That's so much content and so much information. Like our brains can't even care about that many things for that long.
No. You're not alone, dude. Once again, like been watching it from the jump. Everybody knows that. Watched almost everything there is to see from the UFC and some of the other majors, but I can't even keep up. I can't. It's like not possible to remember every single fighter. I'm like you. Sometimes I got to look them up.
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos. Bang bang Niner gang. I gotta even out the playing field here. All right. We're gonna jump to Phil. Phil McCracken throws up our last question of the session. It goes, maybe worth doing a poll for this, but I wonder how many people who used to watch McGregor's fights wanting him to win will watch his next fight in the hope he gets battered. And I'm not even sure if this brother ever fights again. That's my answer. But go, what you got?
So I'm in trying to think how to say this diplomatically, politically correct. Listen, I'm a McGregor fan. I think that Rob is correct, that I do not think we are ever going to see him fight again. All right. I don't think we're ever going to see him fight again. But I want to see him fight, and I don't care if he wins or loses. I don't care if any of these guys win or lose. I want to see him perform, though. I want to see vintage McGregor performance, which we haven't seen in like 10 years. Like when did he knock out Eddie Alvarez? I don't even want to look up the date because I've already made myself feel old this show. I don't want to look up when he knocked out Eddie Alvarez. We haven't seen Conor actually be Conor since that fight. And what I would love to see him fight, and I would love to see him be himself and put on a show. I know all that out of the cage stuff. And yes, he's a bad person. Okay. I don't watch grown men get in their underwear and fight in a cage because I'm looking for like role models. All right. I just want to see people fight.
Well, you and I often agree so much that I'm glad that we have somewhere to stand on 2 different sides of the seesaw here, because that's exactly why, one, I think he's never fighting again because he ain't that. A racehorse doesn't break their leg and come back. If Anderson Silva couldn't do it, McGregor can't do it. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. And on top of that, he's a racist. He's a racist. He's probably a racist. He's a rapist, a dirty, gross ass rapist. And I don't really want to see him fight again. I don't want to see his brand be extended, the lifespan of his name be continued any further in the sport I love so much. That sports like guys like Robert Valentine, guys like you, Zach, guys like so many other cool brothers put their heart and soul to make the sport happen, and he gets to reap the benefits being the weirdo that he is. I'm over it. I'm completely over the McGregor experience. Thank you for the memories. I'm ready to move on.
I think everyone. I think I'm in the minority of like would be excited to see him fight again. I think everyone is in your boat. Like anyone that says we're Conor McGregor, I feel like everyone just goes, yeah, whatever, dude, whatever.
Dude, there's still some weirdos, especially online, that are just still like on his nuts. It's weird to me, but whatever's. All right, we got through all that stuff, and thank you guys for participating and sharing your thoughts along the way. And we got more fights to talk about because we're not just UFC, folks. It's Combat Sports 365 is the slogan. It means all day, every day, wherever it may be, wherever people are scrapping, we want to see it happen. So in the timeline of this weekend, obviously we highlighted some of UFC on Saturday, but we're going to go back because the PFL decided to run it up on a Thursday. I don't have any explanations about that, but I do have some clips, and it was
good.
I
missed it. I saw there. I go, what the hell? I go, they're fighting it out. Like, when does this happen?
As the only PFL fan in America, the only hardcore PFL fan in America, I can explain this. You know the quickest explanation is that PFL, formerly people used to know the PFL Europe brand was a subsidiary of theirs. They've kind of silently absorbed the PFL Europe brand because it's doing good into the main PFL hub to put out content on ESPN and stuff more regularly. Instead of it being like off to the side without an American broadcast deal. So they silently absorbed the PFL Europe into the main hub. And there you go. That's why we had one on a Thursday when their main global format is on Saturdays now. We got this curveball on Thursday. And PFL, you fucking owe me money for having to explain your goddamn fucking league for the past 6 years or 8 years or what, 8 years already, man. It's crazy shit. But I do have some good ass clips. And let's start with a UK guy getting his ass kicked because I love that.
Couple of jabs, good body kick from
the left hook. Wilson with the hammer fist.
That's right. Polynesian beating up a UK guy. That's what happens. That's like hot water and hot oil mixed together. You get a certain reaction. That was what happens. Shout out to JJ Wilson. Definitely one of their budding stars in their league. Very, very proud Maori. Love to see it. In respect to Mr. Kelly, after I just talked all that hype shit, Kelly filled in last minute. It was supposed to be Paul Hughes. Paul Hughes got hurt. Mr. Kelly stepped in, so good show to you, making weight, showing up for the fight. But that's what happened. So here's another clip. Another UK guy getting beat up.
Get caught with a
right hand landed for Gauchi and dropped Gittins, who've been putting in some work.
Gittins is still fighting hard.
He's back to his feet here. Bit of a flash, but you can see he's right back in this.
I don't know what was in New Zealand cereal this past week, but they had it. They had it going, and it was going well for them. Then UFC veteran guy we all kind of remember, Tyson Pedro, shows up. He gets booked. He just recently signed with them. He gets booked against a killer, Dovlet Yagshimuradov. I hope I'm saying that as close as I possibly can because he's a straight hammer. Dovlet is a hammer, and they had a great fight. But watch this.
I'd like to see Tyson. Oh, he's hurt.
He's got Dovlet hurt and wobbled. Pedro swinging away. Can he get the finish here in round three?
Ready.
The right hand. The follow-up hammer fist. McCarthy looking closely. Dovlet trying to wrestle.
Big strikes here. Hammer fist to the side of the head. Dovlet's reeling.
And an uppercut from Tyson Pedro.
Oh, he's all over the place. This is going to be a TKO finish. One more big shot. He's down.
2 minutes to work and more hammer fists. Pedro's got to keep his legs out of the grip of Dovlet and not let him get back into this fight.
Oh, he's scrambling. His legs are not underneath him.
Short right hand. Misses and then lands a right, and somehow Dovlet Yagshimuradov with a lift and a takedown back from the brink and settling into a rest position for now. I think Tyson Pedro punched himself out there.
I think you're right. Minute 45 to go, and that was most likely his best opportunity to get a finish.
Now, Pedro lost that fight on the scorecards. He lost the previous 2 rounds, but I think that was a 10-8. It didn't go his way like that, you know, whatever. But I want to shout out Dovelet. Like, nobody really mans Dovelet like that. Like, nobody mans Dovelet like that. And he somehow had the fight IQ while eating Tyson Pedro's punches, who Pedro hits like a fucking truck, by the way, and somehow had the IQ to put it together and then pick him up and slam him like he did, and just a great show, great fight all the way around.
Yeah, and you know, that fight gets stopped in a lot of times, right? That ref probably could have stopped that fight 4 times, let it go, and obviously correctly, because Dovelet was able to get back in there, wrestle, and win. But I also believe it was should have been a 10-8. That last round should have been 10-8. But yeah, like UK card, totally different. The funny thing to me, and this is from going way back to my rugby days, it's always weird to me, like why does Australia and New Zealand still have the UK flag on their flags? Like isn't that weird? Do every Kiwi people or Aussie people watching? Do you guys ever talk to you about that in school growing up? Like, they don't own us anymore, do they? Like, we don't need to have their flag on our flag.
I think they're still part of the Commonwealth.
They're part of the Commonwealth. They're all part of the Commonwealth, but
yeah, I don't know.
I'm Australian. I'm not from the UK. Get your UK flag off my flag.
Yeah, run some stars and stuff like us. Wait, don't do that. I don't know. Make up something. But here, the PFL card had bangers, dude. This is only a clip of what was a complete and total war, but you're gonna see just from this. Imagine like a whole fight of this.
Tried the knee, some thudding impacts from Cosio to the body, who's just chasing now. And he stabs to the body. He's got Carvalho hurt to the midsection. Cosio, can he sniff out a finish here in the final seconds of round 3?
We're going to hear the clapper in a minute. If Carvalho hears that, he's going to cling on. What a fight this has been.
Look at these two. A flurry all the way to this final bell. What a fight.
Basically, that's what it was. It was like one guy getting the edge, wrecking the other dude until like he kind of ran out of gas, and then the other guy just like going, okay, watch this, and it's my turn. And just back and forth they went. It was great, super awesome. And that's why, folks, watch all MMA whenever you can, even when it's weirdly on a Thursday. Just do it. You'll enjoy it.
Listen, PFL, I can't tell you how to work the algorithm, because if I knew how to, there would be more people watching this show right now. But I didn't know. Like, how do I not know that you're having a show on Thursday? I'm as balls deep in MMA as you can get. I'm watching everything fighting that I can get, and I saw Tyson Pedro share the clip after the fight was over. I go, what? Tyson Pedro fought yesterday? There's a whole PFL card.
It's not good. That's not the way to do it. Well, we're moving into my favorite realm of fighting right now. No surprise. I say it almost every week. Is bare knuckle boxing. Bare knuckle boxing is fucking awesome. And there was a great event located in Denver this past week, which makes it even better because anytime fights are in Denver, you just get to see people melt.
Yeah, people are dying.
Yeah, they're not ready for it. Unless you live out there, you're just not ready for it. And there's very few ways, unless you live in like Mexico City, is probably the only way to go to Denver and have an advantage, which is like barely anybody, fight wise, not population wise. Shout out Mexico City. All right, here we go. I'm gonna drop some clips of that right meow. and there was multiple UFC veterans on the BKFC card. Josh Copeland, Josh Fremd, Deron Wynn, Chris Camozzi, like 4 there. And folks, they went 2-2, 2 wins, 2 losses. Copeland unfortunately was from an injury. I don't have a clip on that. His bicep popped or something like that. So, you know, best healing to you, brother. But here's Josh Fremd.
There's a big left hook. Right to the inside. To the canvas goes Jared Torgerson. Torgerson was emphatic in our fighter meeting. I cannot get stuck on the outside. He's stuck on the outside right now. Takes the left hook. And 2 times to the canvas here in round number 1. He can't see Torgerson.
It's like he might be done.
This fight is...
And then this fight was for the interim, I think, cruiserweight. I think this is for the interim cruiserweight. If you guys don't know, Chris Camozzi was the longtime cruiserweight champ. He defended many times. Then he fought Alessio Sakara, lost the decision, then had a bounce back fight. And then this one was for the interim. I don't know what's going on with Sakara. Sorry, I can't tell you. But this fight was just all action, dude.
To avoid that Camozzi straight right. Camozzi on the turn. Rodriguez turned 360.
Shots. That's a great chance of getting the knockout here.
Rodriguez stepping forward on the right hand. But no medical timeout. G-Press doing great work. Round number 4 on the right hand. Lands up from stretch from Esteban Rodriguez to start the 4th round. Good right hands.
Camozzi just needs to throw some straight shots. It's really giving Rodriguez some problems. And like a good uppercut would really impact. They're very smart for Camozzi.
Big left hook to the body, and then the counter right uppercut from Esteban Rodriguez. That slows down Camozzi, and Camozzi right knee on the canvas, the first knockdown in this fight.
And that right there, folks, was the end of the fighting career of Chris Camozzi. He called it a day. He can't drop the gloves because there's no gloves, but he metaphorically put the gloves down. You know, God bless to him. I guess he's got a new child like right around the corner any minute now. So God bless him and his family on his new additions to his life. And, you know, me and Zach talk about this all the time. To know when it's time to go is a hard thing to do, but to do it kicking ass. He was upset that he lost his title by a decision that may or may not have been correct because it was overseas and the other guy was home territory, all that other stuff. But to go out gut, bloods, and glory and just give it your best, hey, you know, shout out to Chris Camozzi, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, and 100% shout out to Camozzi, and he's a good dude. I don't know if probably most of you guys don't know him, but he is one of the good dudes in MMA. There's not a lot of them, and he's a really good dude, a really good training partner, a guy that takes care of people. And that was such a good card. Rob's always going crazy. Every BKFC card he's going crazy about. That's the first one because it was in Denver that I watched start to finish, and I was like, I can't take this. Like this is too exciting. Like I need some air. It's just madness, crazy fighting over and over and over every single fight. I didn't do the math, but like it was like 90% finishes. I can't even remember. I don't even know if there was a draw. Like I can't even pull off my head if there's or not a draw, a decision, a single decision. But like they are putting out the product that you want to watch. Like that's 100% what that organization is doing.
And they're not the only kids on the block. There's another org, folks. Like I keep pushing this because it's awesome and I want you guys to enjoy it just like I do. BKB has its own slight nuances. I didn't even realize, me and Zach talked about this a little bit. I didn't even realize I get so sucked into the action. I was not paying attention to the minutes of the rounds. They're slightly different than each other. They also have a different sized ring. Yeah. And you guys will see it here just in a second. But you know, I had somebody on here that I know that I wanted to just give him my love. Shout out to everybody who fought on that card, really. But dude, I'm getting all excited because there's one part of this card that is exactly what I'm all about. I'm about the UK versus the USA. And when push comes to shove, with a glove or no glove, you know who's going to win. So here, follow the story.
If it's a Yankees or Mets love that he's showing on the shorts.
You, as a New Yorker, would figure that out, right?
Oh,
and there.
Now that's LT Nelson. If you guys don't know who he is, he's like the Mike Perry of BKB. He's like born for this. Very good champion, beating a lot of people. The other dude, Mark Tennant, is the UK guy. So if you BK runs a lot of fights in the BKB, runs a lot in the UK. They also have like a UK belt, and what they'll do is they'll like find the best guy from there and then do like a face off between whoever the real champion is. It's kind of like an intermediate step belt to get to the world title. So one score for the UK. Here's part two.
And a great left hook there from TNT Tiffin. Oh, and now it's Tiffin that goes down. And we ask, how does he?
And now we're all tied up with one knockdown apiece on each side. The drama's building, like great shit happening. And here's how the story ends.
Stop. Back up. Tiffin's legs don't look good. Tiffin's legs don't look good either.
There it is to the temple, left hook, and you see the legs, how they buckled, and he may not get up.
Yeah, that's why he's smashed. LT telling him stay down. LT cut. Look at LT as blood streams.
And it's basically just like BKFC, but a smaller ring, forces action. One more clip, not from that fight. You already saw the result there.
That's the thing.
Oh, nice left hook there from the Yeti. And now the Yeti's down.
Juan understanding level distance very well.
Juan Adams, shout out to brother Juan Adams, former UFC, former PFL, and all that. Then he's a school teacher. The guy's a school teacher, and he does stand-up comedy now. The guy's like a Swiss Army knife of stuff, and then he decided to do it. I still like fighting. I'm going to join into bare knuckle. So shout out to a guy who just does stuff.
Well, I think BKB has a super heavyweight, right? Juan's a super heavyweight. He's definitely not 265.
Yeah, I didn't know if they followed the boxing rules and was just like unlimited.
Oh, heavyweights is unlimited? Could be. Because BKFC does UFC weight classes, MMA weight classes with boxing names, right? There's not a light heavyweight. They call it the cruiserweight. The belt Kabozu's fighting for was called the cruiserweight belt, but it was 205.
Right. Once again,
who knows?
So much stuff. All I do is show at this point because the game is so deep. I just show up now. That's my
dude. I talk about this every time we talk about it. Bare knuckle is so cool. It's so violent. It's what everybody wants, and it's like I feel like it's evolving as we're watching it. Like we're seeing that it's not boxers coming over and running the show, right? It's these MMA guys. It's like these guys that like the Mike Perry's the perfect example. Struggled in MMA, was a good MMA fighter and had some difficulties, and is unbeatable in bare knuckle because he just has this bare knuckle technique that he's figured out that nobody has. And to the martial arts nerd in me, that's what I love to see. I love seeing guys figure out how do we best fight with the tools available to us.
That's it right there. And I love seeing some of the boxers who've adjusted. There's some of the things in boxing that was a negative to them, and they've adapted their styles, and now they're like unhittable. Now they're just cleaning guys up because they're using part of the boxing game and adapted to bare knuckle, which is its own animal on every level. Really, it is. All right, folks, if you follow the channel, follow me or whatever's, you might have saw that I teased earlier in the week that we had an announcement. Is a friend of mine, someone I've been knowing for a long time, and he's gone on a very difficult, windy road. Some of that road traveled alongside Zach in getting bamboozled in the GFL draft. Doing our first our first fighter, not our first fighter guest because we've already had Tony Cortez, but first like big announcement that I want to make, and I'm doing a preface. So next week, folks, show up nice and early, drop your comments, show some love, because my dude, the homie, Felipe Lins, will be with us to answer questions, to share his thoughts, to share a little bit of experience, of his experience going through this. What is arguably one of the bigger, hyped up, most talked about cards, going against the man. Like, let's not cut no shit. He's been fighting Francis Ngannou. Like, that's a big fucking deal. Fighting Francis is a big deal, a big challenge, and everything else that goes with it, all the media stuff, being on the pioneer edge on the MVP part of it, him having to sit down for a year because of other things, like not because of his health, because of business stuff. So much to talk about that we'll get to cover with him. And if you guys don't know, Felipe's just a cool fucking dude. Like, come join us. You're gonna be just a bigger fan of his as I am. And there you go. That was my big announcement that I had for this week to share with you guys. So next week, see us same time, 7 p.m. Pacific. We'll be doing it. And we're getting here close to the edge. We're going a little overtime, but we have one last topic I want to share and talk about. Zach, do you have anything you want to say before we
so
get
just like, I'm sure anyone who's watching our show is like aware, but just how big of a fight this is. And Felipe's a good fighter. He's a big heavyweight fights for. But Francis never lost the UFC belt. He won and never lost the PFL belt. And to me, right? This is the lineal unified MMA world title that Felipe Lins is fighting for. And MVP, pay me, but that's what you should do it for. Like, Francis has never lost his belts. He is the champion. He is the champion of the world in the two biggest organizations. And that's what Lins has an opportunity to step in and be the person he has the opportunity to step in and be.
Well, solid fucking point, Zach. That's a solid ass point. Felipe is fighting for the unified, undisputed, the lineage of the, what is it called? You just said it.
Unified, undisputed belt.
Yeah, all of it.
They're made belt. Yeah,
this is the guy. This is because Francis never lost, like you said. So great point. Solid point. All right. Well, we're here towards the end, and we're gonna do some random stuff. So I'll share a random clip just because I thought this shit was funny, and we could all laugh at a little bit of stuff. So here's just some random funny stuff. I don't know why, but I just laugh at that. The guy being serious, the other guy not being serious. That was awesome to me. Now, I shared a post recently. The Aloha Stadium in Hawaii, home of the Pro Bowl for decades, was demolished. So if you don't know, here it is. Hawaii's only big ass stadium. It's the only one we have, and now it's dead because it's been abandoned for a little bit. And there it is, dead, just dead. There it is. That's it dying. That's it dying. Well, and in context, if you don't know, it's been what's the word when you condemned? It's been condemned for years. Hawaii is slow to build or destroy things. Just want to let you know, like, we're not in any rush to do anything. You might have heard the phrase island time. That goes double for building or destroying things. So it's been dormant for a long time, hasn't been used for a long time, and allegedly is going to clear way for a new stadium, which will probably take another 20 years to build. But regardless, there is plans and good things maybe on the horizon now that this is going out of the way. But I wanted to share a post that I made earlier in the week about this stadium. And you know what's fun? Me and Zach have been to that stadium multiple times watching different events, but it's mean a lot to me in here. I made a short post and I'll share it with you guys. Aloha Stadium getting demolished brought emotions to me. Here's some of the here's just a quick list of things that I experienced at that stadium. 13 or 14 Pro Bowls. I can't remember the exact number. I was a kid. I can't count them all, but it was something like that. it was at least that many. A Michael Jackson concert, yeah, that happened. He did it twice. I only went to one. Robbie Knievel, son of legendary Evel Knievel. I watched him jump and land it, all super awesome. And then I watched him jump and eat it. You guys should watch that. It was bad. He hurt himself pretty crazily. And 100+ UH football games, that could be asterisks to just in general college football games mixed with high school games. Just a lot of football played in that stadium that I watched. And I'm just going to throw this out there for no good reason. UH became really good after I left the islands, which, is typical. Not in the slightest or least thing. The pictures I've shared down at the bottom, that's little Robbie. That's me, 3-year-old little Robbie there. And I got to see monster trucks for the first time with my own eyes. And that set this dream of mine to become, I wanted to become a monster truck driver, but there's 0 monster trucks in Hawaii, so that got kind of hard. But later on, that picture is my last year in competition. That's literally 30 years apart. There's little Robbie and 33-year-old Robbie, and I got to live my dream. I got to drive. I got to live all that and do that stuff. So that stadium meant a lot to me, meant a lot to millions of people who went there and enjoyed the time. I know, like Zach, you said you got to see a bunch of UH games and other stuff there too, right?
Oh yeah. I went to a lot, and I wish I got to go dig through my parents' photo albums. They're not digitized. I went to Hawaii Rainbow games, not the Warriors. They're the Rainbows when I went there, and that's who they'll always be to me.
That's right. Rainbow Warriors is the term now. There's somebody tried to hijack rainbows for a little bit.
I know, exactly. Yeah.
We took it back.
We're taking it back. Right.
So anyways, folks, that's what I had to share with you this week. There's other topics, but we ran long. I didn't understand the format for this, but thank you for sticking with us all this time. Next week, 7 p.m., be here, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Figure it out in your own time zone. I'm not here to do math. I'm not good at it. Why would I try? 7 p.m. Pacific. Join us. We'll have Felipe Lins on board and a whole slew of other combat stuff. My man, any final words before I close up?
Give us some questions, especially for Lins, and I mean we'll sort through them so we aren't just bombarding them with random stuff. I'm going to do a better job of trying to get your guys' input, but yeah, we really we went to this live format. We really want to talk with you guys and go back and forth a little bit. Rob and I can talk to each other about Aloha Stadium for 4 hours if we really wanted to. We're here. We want to talk to you guys. So yeah, give us some questions, especially for Felipe. I'm sure everyone wants to know about what's going on with the Netflix stuff, and yeah, just get involved, guys.
That's it. So folks, it's been a good time. We'll see you next time. But in the meantime, stay fully hydrated. All right.